What is up, Spring Group? I am so excited that you joined this group. This is my third 8 week long group. Um, and before that, I think I did 3 or 4 30-day groups. The 8 week groups are going awesome. I'm switching things up a little bit every time to make them better. So if you're returning, I'm excited to have you back. And if it's your first time doing a group, then I'm excited for you to be here and I think you're going to love it. The first thing that I want to say right off the bat is that even though this is a group atmosphere, um, I do a lot of things personalized for each of you. So if there's something that you need to be more successful in this group, um, please just let me know. I really make myself available to you guys. I limit the amount of people that I take for these groups for that reason so that I can cater to you. I'm not going to be able to like call you every day, but if you need like a phone call or you need to do a Skype check in at some point and really just like relay how things are going or something like that, please let me know. I'll get to talking about tracking meals and using me as a resource. But I really want to make sure that you guys know that I am available to you throughout the duration of the group and in the future. I'm here for you. So please utilize me as a resource and make sure that you get out of this group what you need to be successful. So I'm going to go over the Excel spreadsheet first, just explain what everything means so that when you open up yours and when you open up your video from me, you know what's what and what is happening. So the nutrition log here is the first page, the first sheet, I guess, on the Excel spreadsheet. And this is where your personal athlete information is, your macronutrients, your goals for the spring group, and where you're going to document your daily intake. So when you get your sheet from me, it's going to be filled out up here in the top left corner with your information and your goal. It's not going to be a weight, but I'm just going to say either lose, gain, or maintain. And that's just to remind me when I open up your sheet what direction you should be heading as far as your macronutrient goals go. And then client goals, this is also going to be a recap every time I open your sheet for me and for you to really highlight what exactly it is that we're working towards. So we could have training goals here. These could be primarily nutrition goals. I'm probably going to add in there for most of you to just be consistent and have fun as your fourth goal because that's really important for me and I want it to be important for you too, to remain consistent and to have fun because this really is a journey and we're not going to solve all of our problems or probably not reach all of our weight loss goals at the end of 8 weeks. But if we instill a mindset that that this is a journey and rather than an 8 week diet or any group or any diet for that matter, um, and if we start looking at it as a journey, then I think that we'll be a lot more successful. So the then moving down, the date. These are the dates on the far left. So every day I want for you to record your weight. And a lot of the stuff that I'm about to go over is recapped in the getting started document. So you don't really have to take notes or anything. I'll have it highlighted on there. But just to go over it on here with you, your weight should be recorded every day here on this far left column. In pounds, if you're weighing yourself in kilos, just make sure that I know that because otherwise I'm going to be looking for pounds. And then you should be weighing yourself under the same conditions every morning. So usually that's after using the restroom when you wake up, before eating or drinking anything, and weigh yourself in the same amount of clothing every morning. So if you weigh yourself nude every day. If you weigh yourself in your spandex and sports bra, weigh yourself in your spandex and sports bra every day. Then the next three columns are our daily total in protein, carb, and fat in grams. And this will come from MyFitnessPal. I'll show you how to use MyFitnessPal as well. Um, but your daily total in grams for fat, protein, and carbs will go here, and then your calories will automatically populate. So if there's a discrepancy, which there will be a discrepancy between these calories that pop up and the calories that MyFitnessPal tells you was your total for the day, this Excel spreadsheet is automatically going to give you 4 calories per gram of carb, 4 calories per gram of protein, and 9 calories per gram of fat. So this will be correct every time. The reason that MyFitnessPal is going to be off from this number is because they only, I believe, don't quote me, but FDA, I think you only have to be within a certain percentage, and I don't know what that percentage is, so I don't want to say. But they only have to be, labels only have to be within a certain percentage of the correct numbers, so to speak. So you might see something that says 5 carbs, 0 fat and 0 protein, just 5 grams of carbs, and it may say 10 calories or something like that, which we know that that carbs are 4 calories per gram, so 4 times 5 is 20. So yeah, this will be right every time. If you have a refeed day, most of you won't have refeed day starting out, but if you do, you can indicate which day you had that refeed in this column. If you had to estimate any meals for the week, you would indicate in this column how many meals you estimated on that day. So this doesn't mean an estimated number of meals that you ate, 5 meals this day, 4 meals this day. No, no. This means if you had to go to Chipotle for your lunch and you had to estimate your lunch, that was the only meal that you had to guess your macros on, which we will make educated guesses, hopefully, based on nutrition facts online. But even so, you're not weighing it out in your own kitchen. That would be an estimated meal. So I guess I will talk about this now. If you do need to estimate meals, which all of us will at some point, I want to help you make the most educated guess for the macros of that meal as possible. So what I will ask for you to do is to send me a photo of your meal and a description of it. So, this is my dinner. It's spaghetti and meatballs. I don't know how much spaghetti and meatballs, but I do know there's a 1/4 cup of mozzarella cheese and a piece of garlic bread or something. Then you're also going to send me your estimation of that meal in MyFitnessPal. So after you have entered into MyFitnessPal, perhaps you enter each ingredient. You look up lasagna noodles, and then you estimate how many noodles you have on your plate. You look up spaghetti sauce, and you estimate how much sauce, and you do the best that you can to track that meal, and then send me a screenshot of your MyFitnessPal log of that meal. And then how I ask for you to send that is to turn your phone sideways so that I can see the food item and the macros for that meal together. And then I can help you make adjustments to that log. It's going to be an estimation from me as well, because I also didn't make that meal or weigh it out. But I can at least help you be more accurate so that we stay on track. So that's what that column means. I'm probably not going to prescribe anyone cardio starting out, but if you do cardio, or if I do give you cardio to do, the type, the minutes, and the calories, if you have a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or something, calories is kind of a cool thing to keep track of too for cardio. You can keep track of that in this far right column. And then over here on the top, you won't need to do anything with this. Your average macros will automatically calculate. Your average calories and your average weigh-in will also calculate. And this is a great tool for me to look at and to compare week to week to monitor your progress towards your goals. Down here is some subjective measures that I like for you to fill out each week. Hunger, mood, strength, and stress. Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 how your hunger is. A 1 indicates a poor score for all 4 of these, and a 10 indicates a high score. Adherence is much more specific measure, and I want a specific number here. This is referring to adherence to your macros. So how well did you adhere? And honestly, this number does not even necessarily mean how well did you adhere to your goal number, but rather how how accurate is what you tracked in this over here. How accurate is that? How well does it reflect what you actually ate this week? So how I want for you to gauge this number is on your RPE warm-up tab, which is the third one I'm going to skip over to real quick. And there's an adherence chart here. So this is a really important number for you to fill out. So definitely take your time in reading this and understanding it. But basically, a 10 would mean that every meal this week you tracked and weighed to the gram or ounce, all in your own kitchen. No meals were estimated. It's a perfect representation of what you ate this week on your Excel sheet. A 9 would be at most 1 or 2 meals were estimated, but they were accurately tracked and checked with me. So if you put a 9 on your nutrition log, and I'm looking through my texts and emails, and we did not exchange any information about estimated meals, I'm going to wonder why you put a 9 there. Because I nobody's going to be perfect checking out. Unless you're a veteran at tracking your macros, I'm going to be looking for texts to help you with those estimations. An 8 would be every meal tracked, but 3 or 4 were weighed, and estimated meals were tracked as accurately as possible and checked with me. And then a 7 would be 5 or 6, so this is a lot of meals now, were estimated, but they were tracked as accurately as possible. So you kind of see how, as we get down, adherence is less and less. So if your goal is weight loss, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'll tell you this in your video probably as well, your adherence should be high. And yes, flexible dieting is flexible, and it does allow us to eat meals out. But if you're serious about your weight loss goal, your adherence to your macros should be high. You have as much flexibility to eat whatever you want that fits within your goals in your own kitchen that you can weigh. And flexible dieting really does get more flexible as you go further along, but it's really my best recommendation for you to stick to your macros and weigh out your own meals if your goal is weight loss, especially. Because that's really the only way that we can know if these macros are helping you or not. Because if your adherence is low, then that means that you're probably pretty far off from your macro goal anyway. So if you have questions about that, let me know. And I'll probably talk about it more, like I said, in your individual video if that pertains to you. So, no, I don't want to update. No. Okay, so into the training tab. This isn't completely updated yet for those of you who have done my groups before, but I'm working on it right now. Every week is labeled, as you can see. This first section up here is the powerlifting portion of our training, starting with 2 days of squat, 2 days of bench, and 2 days of deadlift. The 1 is the first day of squats, the 2 is the second day of squats. And the training schedule indicates one way that you can set up your week. But regardless, we start out with 2 sets of 7 reps at an RPE of 7. Notice that I don't give you the load because training is not something that I individualize for the spring group. But I have set this up in a way that I think that you can kind of guide yourself, especially if you're, just dabbling in powerlifting for the first time, or maybe you have no clue about powerlifting, but you're going to give it a try for the spring group. This is a great place for you to start. If you would consider yourself an intermediate powerlifter, or maybe you've done a group before and you really enjoy the powerlifting, you need some more structured powerlifting programming, that is something that I love to do and I'll be happy to do for you. It's just not part of the spring group, so we could talk about some one-on-one online coaching for that. So you'll have to let me know. But regardless, picking a load that reflects an RPE of 7 means that, and then back on this RPE chart, that you have about 5 reps left in the tank after finishing that second set or the last set in that section. So here it's 2 sets. On subsequent weeks, it's 3 sets, but it always means the last set having an RPE of 7. So finishing this second set of 7 or 5 and feeling like you could have done 5 more reps. So that's pretty light. So we're starting out with a really low load, low intensity, low weight on the bar. RPE of 7. So if that's confusing to you, if you have questions about that, please let me know. And then whatever loads you enter here on this first week, the second week and the third week will build off of that. So if you squat 2x7 at 100 pounds this week, and 2x5 at 110 pounds, so around an RPE of 7, it's not going to be perfect because there's no way to know exactly how we're going to feel at the end of our second set. Somewhere around an RPE of 7. Then week 2 is going to automatically populate and give us, in this case, 5 more pounds. So next week we're going to do 2x7 at 105 for our first squat day, and 3x5 at 115 for our second squat day. And bench and deadlift will do the same, and so on. Every single week there will be volume progression. So again, I think this is a cool way for people just starting out or just starting within powerlifting or just trying to get an idea of what it's like. But more intermediate or advanced powerlifters should, in my opinion, have programming each week specific to their needs and how the previous weeks went. So getting on down to the hypertrophy training, again, still working on this. So if you've done a group before, it's not completely, in this video, it's not completely redone yet, but it will be by the time you get the sheet. And it's broken up by muscle group for the most part. So this first section is shoulder exercises, sets and reps. Again, I can't pick a load for you, but I can tell you an RPE of 8 is a great place to start out. And I'll put that in here as a reminder. Oops. An RPE of 8 is a great place to start out. So 3 reps left in the tank after our last set for all of these. Next section is back and biceps, leg accessory work, and then chest and triceps. So for the most part, these weeks will switch on and off. So then the second week will have mostly different exercises for each of those categories, and then we'll kind of circle back to the first week of exercises. Those who have trained with me before or have done my groups before know that I like to stick to the basics when it comes to exercises. That's just how I am. That's how I train. That's how I coach. That's how my athletes train. And so that's how I set up my groups as well. So this is me, if you know what I mean. And then going back to this RPE warm-up tab one more time, I have a recommended warm-up section listed up here. The RPE chart, the adherence chart, and then this is just kind of an idea overview of how you could structure your training. This is just one of many, many ways that you can set up your training throughout the week. Do set up your training however works best for you and your schedule. Try to be consistent week to week. But you don't have to be. Pick your rest days. Set up a plan so that you know what you're doing. Okay, Monday I'm doing my first squat day, first bench day, and shoulders. Tuesday I'm doing my first deadlift day, back and biceps. Wednesday I'm gonna rest. Thursday, whatever. Maybe you decide I don't want to do chest and triceps. You can just leave that section out completely and just program, all of this into your schedule and squat and bench. Maybe you don't want to deadlift. However you want to set up your training um, is completely up to you and completely fine. Another thing that I will be sending you, I've combined many of my documents this time around. So if you've done it before, if you've done a group before, this will look a little bit different. Um, but we start out with kind of the introduction to the spring group, nutrition goals, workout goals, things you're going to need, your weekly check-in, so how check-ins are run. We aren't doing every single Sunday check-ins this time around. They'll be every other Sunday, so I will let you know in your email what weeks you will be checking in with me. Please use your weekly check-in guide. Here's instructions on weighing in. And then some important things to remember. My phone number is here. Whoops. And so then this is the check-in guide. So this is something that you can copy and paste into your email and just answer these questions just to kind of keep you on track. Make sure you've done things that you need to do before you check in. Next is MyFitnessPal instructions. So if you're setting up MyFitnessPal for the first time, here is instructions on how to do that. Additional MyFitnessPal information, why I prefer it to my macros for the most part. If you have your Fitbit hooked up to MyFitnessPal, making sure that you're not adjusting your calories based on calories that you burn. That's really important. If you're totally new to tracking macros and you have no clue, please do read all of this. It's good information. What are macros and what will I gain from keeping track of them? My best recommendations for tracking. This is another important section. I really have put a lot of thought into this document, so do take the time to read it. Things that I recommend for just to be successful in tracking your macros, basically, how to be successful. So that's pretty much it for that document. I'm also going to be sending you Eating on a Budget, which is all of my favorite meals and all of the ingredients that make up those meals. So if you're wondering what I eat, if you're wondering how I reach my protein goal, if you're wondering what I fill my carbs with, it's all on here. It really is. Not that you can't ask me questions about what you should, eat for your last meal of the day or something like that, but I'm more times than not going to refer you here first because this is really the answer. And whether or not you want to make up these meals like this is completely up to you. But take out, maybe you don't have this many carbs, so you take out the sugar and you just make the elf in your waffles with cinnamon on it. Or you make this fruit and yogurt parfait, but it's too many carbs for you, so you take out the brown sugar and find a different yogurt that has less carbs or something like that. But again, I'm going to refer you here for a lot of your meal questions. Facebook is a great tool that I want all of us to utilize for questions, for concerns, for comments, for small victories, sharing our meals, really whatever it is that you want to share. That platform is for you guys to utilize, so make the most of it. I will be making posts and some informative posts for you, mostly during the first week as we're getting started, and then the group will kind of be up to you to keep running and keep asking questions, help each other out, things like that. But this has breakfast, lunch, and dinner options. Definitely don't limit yourself to what's on here by any stretch of the imagination. But again, these are my favorite meals. I have included some of the things that I will order at my favorite places to eat out. Again, not all inclusive, but these are um, uh, where I'll go to eat out probably 80% of the time is one of these places, and what I order when I go there is listed. A lot of these places have many more good options on their website, so definitely look wherever you're going out to eat on their website at Nutrition Facts. You might be surprised. There's usually good options. Um, I'll be adding each of you to the Facebook group once you add me on Facebook. And what else? I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. So what you can expect to get from me in your email is this video, your individualized video, your Excel spreadsheet, that getting started document with all of that information I just scrolled through, and eating on a budget. And I've really condensed things, so I think that that's pretty much it. Again, please let me know what you need to be successful. Super excited to have all of you here. Super excited to work with you over the next 8 weeks and to really see your progress. One thing that I didn't mention that I guess I could mention now, I don't require you to take progress photos, but I do think that it's a really, really, really great tool to have, and people who have in the past have been so glad they did, especially when they get to a point where the scale is just not moving how they want to. Being able to take a set of progress photos and compare it to the beginning is a really great way to measure progress. I would recommend doing it in a very well lit area that you can replicate. So, if you have good lighting in your bedroom, and you'll be able to take pictures there again throughout the 8 weeks, that's a great place to do it so that it's consistent and in the same place. Good lighting is really important so that you can really see those fine details and really be able to tell where you've made progress. I would take one from the front, one from the side, one from the back, in something that you're comfortable sharing if you want for your transformation or progress photos to be shared at the end, that is. But yeah, other than that, I think that that's pretty much everything. I'm sure I'll forget something that I'll include in the email. But good luck, everyone, and have fun with it. And I will be in communication with all of you very soon.